All right, guard defense, working from the bottom position. So you've ended up in a bad spot and you're on your back. We're going to start with defending against strikes. We're going to do it from a more self-defense perspective versus a sporting perspective. The reason for this is I want to make sure that you guys start out with a really good, solid foundation of being able to protect yourself in any combative situation. We can always layer in the sports game and the different tactics that are involved in the sports game. Main thing you need to think about when you're looking at this is if I'm starting off of my back with somebody, okay, and in a sporting realm, all I have to worry about is grip fighting. I don't have to worry about him hitting me. So I can sit in this position on my back with the distance between me and him quite comfortably, holding a collar or attacking sweeps without worrying about getting punched in the face. But if I do this same game and he can hit me as I'm sitting here, I'm just eating punches, and this is going to be detrimental for your security and your safety. So we're going to start from a position of making sure that you're monitoring the distance and staying close versus trying to make space without something in between you and the attacker, so you are aware and able to keep and protect yourself from being punched or attacked from this position. And then we can start building grip fighting sequences once you're secure here, okay? So starting with a couple layers from the guard that we need to be aware of. So we have levels 1 through 5. We need to make sure that we're aware of each one of these layers because all of them offer a different strategy and different framing mechanisms that we need to be aware of in order to defend from getting a lot of damage from the person on top, okay? Level 1, we're as close as we can be. We want to take as much space away from me and the attacker, just like we did standing. We want to close that gap and clench with the partner and make sure they're unable to make distance to create impactful strikes. So level 1, I want to hold the head and the arm. So I'm going to keep him nice and close to my head position, and I'm going to hold his head down. So when he's trying to make space to pull the arm out to hit me, it's very difficult for him to get the arm out, and I'm staying with him. Versus holding, he makes space, and then now he can start striking with elbows and fists. Okay? So level 1, I can monitor from side to side as I hold the arm and the head. If I feel like I'm losing control over the other side, I can switch. Head first, then arm. Okay, so I can always be monitoring through here. If he starts pushing on me to get his arm out, I can always swim back inside and capture that arm. Switching sides, swim in, capture that arm. But the main priority is always keeping the head down to minimize the impact of the punches. I also want to make sure that my head is next to his head. If I stay here, overhand punches can still reach my head. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping his head here. So now when he throws overhand punches, it's very difficult for him to create an impactful shot. Not down here by my belly where he can still reach the punches, okay? So level 1 again, head next to head, arm trapped, holding tight, okay? Level 2 begins when I cannot control his ability to start striking my body. So he opens up and he can start wailing away on my ribs. I don't want to eat too many of those punches either. So as soon as I feel this arm separate, my knee comes up to my elbow and it blocks that range. So now I have a shell or a frame from my shin to my forearm all the way across. And now to stop that hand from coming back, I slide my hand down his arm and I cup the back of his elbow. And I keep the space closed with my elbow so he can't just swim on the inside and get out. So yeah, here he opens up, my knee comes up, I slide my hand down and I hold that spot. So if he tries to pull his arm out, he cannot because I'm holding. When he tries to drive forward, I can hold him away with my knee. The same thing will apply now to the other side. He will pull back, and I have a problem with that hand making a lot of space. So I bring everything in, my knee and my elbow make contact, and then I cup the elbow position. Now I'm in a position of level 2 punch defense. So I'm just monitoring here. He can't pull away, and I can monitor space between me and him. Okay? I can always pull back to level 1 if needed. So I straighten my legs, I pull everything back in, and I'm back to the head and arm control. So level 1, level 2, okay? And then level 3, I'm gonna make a little bit more distance here. I'm gonna bring my knees together, and I'm going to extend my hips far enough away that his hands cannot reach my head. Same thing, I'm going to cover my head position,
and then pull him back in as he's leaning in for his punches. I just want to make sure I'm covered, and then I'm back to level 1. I can go from level 1, pushing his shoulders, to level 2, covering, and back in with control. If he pushes on my belly to posture up and I'm losing control here, I keep control of his head, push his shoulders, knees together, make space, make sure I'm staying safe. As he drives forward to get close again, I cover everything and I close the gap here. Level 4, he goes to stand all the way up tall. I'm going to maintain head control again. This time, my knees aren't going to be enough, so I place my feet in the hip position. And now I've got a little bit more distance, the full frames of my legs, long distance. If I only stay at the hip position and I keep my legs bent, he can reach my head still. So my feet are mobile. My feet are like hands here. As he starts to get closer, I can use my feet to create space and move him away so that he's never at that range where he's close enough to strike. I also have striking ability with my legs from this position. I can strike with my heel. I can hyperextend the knee. I can bring my leg up and I can strike the face as well. Okay, so this is that level 4 range where I have my legs to be able to strike, and at any time I feel like I need to get back in and he's leaning in really far, as I can always go back to level 3, back to level 1. Okay, I'm pulling him in with control. Now the last level that we need to look at is level 5. So again, he postures and stands back up. I keep the head down. I make space with my feet, and he backs away. If I keep my feet on him when he backs away, what happens is my legs get too straight, and it's very easy for him to come over the top. So as soon as I feel him moving away, I retract my legs. They're loaded so that I can kick if I need to, but I'm also tracking his movement because he might try and walk around my legs. So the first movement, if you can and you have the mobility, is I'm doing a rocking motion, bringing my knees to my chest and then cutting the angle using my elbows for stability and balance, and my hands are always up, ready to cover if I feel like he rushes in. So he comes in, I can cover, I'm back in the position where I can strike if I need to, and I can track. If I struggle with this mobility, I will put one foot on the ground, and whichever direction he's moving, that side leg will stay up to track in case he suddenly rushes in. And I can change between each side, ready to strike if I need to, ready to move, or use one foot on the ground if I need to, okay? And then again, when he comes back in too close, I'm back to using my hips, back to bringing it in. If he drives in again, I cover, back to level 1. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5.